welcome to lesson 1-1. You can see our problem of the day up at the top, and then I just wrote lesson 1-1 down below. I am going to be working off of both a packet, as you can see, and my notebook. My notebook is going to be where I keep all of my notes. For the first 3 weeks, you will not have packets, but after that you will. Those who are online, you'll come up and pick them up. Those who are in class will obviously get one in class, but we'll still be utilizing our math journal as a place to take notes and kind of keep our information. So this first unit is all about place value, and you should remember place value from all the grade levels that you've been in by now. So this lesson should be kind of just a refresher course to just kind of remind us what place values are, and then we're going to look at some of the patterns that we see. So when we're talking about place value, you always want to make sure that you have a place value chart. Anytime that you are doing place value, the best way to help yourself is to go ahead and write a place value chart. Yes, it takes a few extra minutes, but then you're almost guaranteed every single time to get it right. And wouldn't that be awesome to get every question right all the time? Just take a couple extra seconds and go ahead and write yourself out a place value chart, simply like we did during our POD today. So there's 3 types of ways that we're going to write numbers. You have your standard form, which is just writing out the number. Anytime you hear standard, that's just the basic way that we can write numbers. Then you have expanded form, and that's kind of what we did this morning when we had our problem of the day, and we just broke it up into adding, and we broke it up into each place value. And then of course you have your word form. Your word form is going to be no numbers, it's all words. If you ever forget any of these, you can come back and watch this video to remind yourself, or you can look at the vocabulary module and click on place value and scroll down to see all the different vocabulary words. So the first question that we're going to talk about is, what patterns do you see? Well, when we're going from one place value to another, if you start off with 1, 1, and you want that to go into tens, well, that's 10 ones. Well, how did we get there? Well, we're going to multiply by 10. So then we have 100 ones, or 100 ones, but if we're going from there to here, what did we do there? Well, we multiplied by another 10. So we're looking at place value. If we write it out, if we go from ones to tens to hundreds to thousands, each time you go from one to the other, you're multiplying by 10. And how do you know you're multiplying by 10? Well, because you're adding a 0. Anytime you're adding a 0, you're multiplying by 10. We can see that here as well. When you're doing a 1 and you times it by 10, well, then you're in the tens place because you've added that 0. 10 times 10 is 100. So we had a 1 in the tens place. We're timesing it by 10, and now we have the 1 in the hundreds place because we've added that 0. So a 0 is not actually a 0. The 0 is the placeholder because you've moved the 1 up a place value. I hope that makes sense, because each place value is 10 times as great as the place value to its right. Now, if we're going the other direction, if we want to get smaller, then obviously we're dividing, because the opposite of multiplication is division. So you can look at it in either way. So let's practice some of these. So if we have 40 billion, 48 million, well, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to write out a place value chart. If you write yourself out a place value chart again, you should never get it wrong. So I know it's going to go up to billion because that's what my question says. So I'm going to go billion. Then I know it's 100 million. Then it's 10 million. Then it's just million. Then we have 100,000. And then we have 10,000. Then we have 1,000. Then you have 100, 10, and 1. All right, so that took me all of 30 seconds to do. It was not that hard. You can do this each time. You can even keep one and just drag your lines down, and you can use it each time for different questions. It's up to you. But I will ask to see your work, so I do need to see this. It's not optional. So again, our question said 40 billion. So can I just write a 40 right there? Hopefully you said no. We can never put two digits under one place value. So what does that mean? That means I need to add on to move the 4. So then what comes after billions? Well, that would be 10 billions, not hundreds, 10 billion. So now I can take my 4 and move that back over. So now when I read, it says 40 billion. I know I've got it correct. So there's my 40 billion. And then it says 48 million. Well, now I'm just looking at this million section. Well, does the number 48 have 3 digits? Hopefully you said no. 48 is 2 digits, a 4 and an 8. We know we wanted to end in the millions, so the ending number of 48 needs to go under the millions. So what digit goes in the millions? 8. I need it to say 48. So I can't put the 4 here, because if I put the 4 here, that says 408 million. And that's not my number. My number is 48 million. So let's erase those. And I'm going to put the 4 here. And so I need a place value, and our placeholder will always be 0. So now that says 48 million. So now I have 40 billion, 48 million. So what do you think I need to do all the way across over here? I need to add zeros, because zeros are going to be our place value holders. So now I can write 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And remember, in between each one, that's where your commas go. So now my answer to the first question is all written out for me. So this is my question number 1. All right. Question number 2 is written how? Standard, word, or expanded? It's written in expanded form. So we can still use the same process that we just did. We can still put that in our place value chart. So what I would suggest doing is count your zeros. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now I can come on to here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's where I'm going to put my 9. So I'm going to write my 9 right there. Now I look back at my number and I have a 5. Well, where am I going to write that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There goes my 5. Well, what do I need to put in between all of those? Zeros for place value holders. So we're going to fill those with zeros. Well, I'm not done yet because I have one more number. So now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Well, I know that's 300. So I could come over here and I could just write 300. So then what do I put here? Zeros, because those are my place value holders. So now I have answered the question to number 2. All right. So question 3 says, Aaron has $200. Carrie has 10 times as much money as Aaron. How much money does Carrie have? So if Aaron has $200 and we have 10 times as much, remember we're looking at that 10 times. So if we know that they have 200 and we're wanting to multiply that by 10, what are you adding to this number? Think about what was added when we go from a 1 to a 10. What's added when you go from a 10 to 100? A 0. So if I'm going to add a 0 onto this, I'm going to erase my 2, and I'm going to move it up 1 and add my 0. Now how much money did Carrie have? $2,000, because we multiplied it by 10. So that would be our question number 3. And I'm just going to draw another line to show where I'm at. Now, Lewis has 10 times as much as Carrie. So how much money does he have? So now we're not starting out with 200. We're starting out with 2,000. And we're going to say 10 times as much. Well, if we're going to go 10 times as much, what comes next? What goes right there? 10,000. So I know I need to move my 2 up 1 to give myself that 0. So Lewis has $20,000. And that's number 4. I hope you learned a lot from this lesson. We're about to get back together now, and we're going to go over a couple more independent practice and some more word problems before I release you. Have a great day.